Dow Incorporated is at resistance on the 5-minute time frame. Hi everyone, it's Dow on the Dow. I'm going to go over a couple of tickers starting with this one. We ended the day at $24.59, up 6.40%. This is where we landed. To the north side takes us to 4 standard deviations, and that is roughly $24.90. We are already turning down on the 5-minute time frame, so watch out for a pullback. Now, if we go down, one level of support could take us to 24.33, which could be a potential buy-in area. Below that, at the middle of the trend, takes us to 23.78. Another level of support and a potential buy-in area, stop loss area, 23.20. 22.92, and at negative 4 standard deviations, which I do not think we will get to on Thursday. That would be roughly $22.64. Now, as you can see, we are at resistance. I will anticipate a buy-in at this level, and definitely this level. There is a gap that will take us to 23.15, a pullback area. As you can see, we sold off at resistance, a buy-in close to the support line, but it bounced off of this line, and I bought this back on December 4th for $22.79. We gapped up, and then that gap filled to the downside for another support area at $22.89. And I've traded this many times. So right now I own this at $22.79. So if let me just mark something out. That's Friday, but I want to go to the end of Thursday. All right, so the end of Thursday, if we're lucky, could take us to 25.12. I might just sell out at 25.12, or at least just hit a sell order, because I own at this level 24.42 and also at 24.68. I want to get rid of these shares. I never set a stop loss. We created after I bought it. I'm terrible at that. If you practice good risk management, you should not be doing what I do, but I don't care. And I know that if I'm patient for certain tickers, it will come back, and this one has. I also own at 22.79. So if I sold out at that 25.12, that would be a 10% return, and that is good enough for me. This is not a long-term trade for me, like Microsoft, Apple, Palantir. So I also purchased and got rid of my lots at 21.68, 22.20. I've traded this many times, and I'm waiting for that pullback level to go back in and buy again and heavily. Okay, we have this gap, so watch out for that as well. Not in the channel, not in the zone, just something to be aware of. That will take us down to 22.57, and then this gap will take us to 20.71, not in the channel. All right, let's clean this up. This was an expected move here to 22.93. Delete. And that took us up to 23.18. It's been a while since I looked at this. I sold previously for 2.03%, 1.62% to get rid of, 3.21%. What is this? Oh, I'm going to delete that. And this took us down to 22.21. This is no longer in play. done. And we have these little gaps that have also filled. 23.48 done. And done here. 23.11. Okay. Oh, and what about, oh yeah, that's done. All right, that's it for now. So the next one I want to go over very quickly is Uber. There was a pullback down 5.51%. Let's hit Option R to reset. All right, 86.07 was a price target that I drew a long time ago. Now the price target is 112.63. And is there a downside? 84 bucks. All right, what is going on? Let's take a look at this. 84.16. The middle of the trend is now 84.76. We could chop sideways before making a leg down or possibly a leg up, but the RSI is going down. All right, your levels for Thursday, 88.09, 89.70, and don't hold your breath for this level on Thursday, but down the road, 91.28 to the south side. Support, stop loss, potential buy-in area, 81.44, 79.75, and 78.24. We have a gap, just a micro one, but I think we'll eventually hit it. Let's price that out. I'll change the color later. And we had this gap to the downside, and that filled at 87.87. Oh, we have a tiny gap here as well. Let's just draw it out for people who are into Uber. I've taken Uber many times, and I've met some very nice drivers. Okay, so look what happened here. We're at support, did an inverted U, and now we're just retracing back to this level for a potential bounce off of that. Ooh, and up here, ooh, this looks good for this gap, but that's going to be way down the road. Let's finesse this a little bit better. There we go. Okay, down the road, that will take us to 98. Let me just change this. It's 98, 99.98. Okay, let's take a look at this now on the daily. Big picture, what's happening? As you can see, I've tracked this many times, but I have not done it recently. The RSI is falling, but let me give you a level to work with. So we're at we're at 84.16. I was looking at the wrong thing. Okay, we're at support. That's good, but this is still going down. So maybe one leg down, 77.52, and then 70.84. But we have this gap that will haunt us. It's the hantavirus. Watch out for it. Okay, 55.80, 55.58, 43.91, and then all the way down to 26.40. I don't know. That might be a unicorn event. And I don't know if that's going to happen. Now, why do I see this is a gap within a gap here? It looks like. And I did not close this on a different time frame. There, that touched. That took us down to 58.01. Okay, and then This gap that took us down to $69 is done. No longer a landmine. We've already stepped on it. And let's do this one. Oh, we have a gap within a gap here. This is just fun. I love closing out these things. Let's get rid of this. Okay, so did that touch? Yeah, I think so. Okay. And then we had this micro one, and that touched. That took us down to 77.75. All right, I feel better already. Ooh, we've got this one to look forward to. Okay, you got to extend that. Hit it right at its, okay, that's a little off. And you know what would be better if I did it on, hold up here. Oh, it did close. Bummer. Okay, so that closed here. So that's done. And this one closed to the downside. Done. If you become an expert at one ticker, you can see and make all these trades. Unfortunately, I am not that kind of person because I like to trade a bunch of different things. Let's just extend this one and call it good for Uber because I want to go over Mrna, and I just did this one because I sold out again. Okay, here's the daily, but let me just give you the window. Oh. Okay. Wait, we're 29.03. We are here. So the next leg up will take us to 30.51, and a leg down will take us to 19.60 on the daily. The RSI is still running, so I probably should have kept my lot that I bought and sold on Wednesday, but I didn't because I've been through this before and I just wanted to lock in my 20% gain. And that is good enough for me. I cannot cry about that. First, let's give you some price targets for Thursday. So we ended at 29.03. Your levels, resistance, take profit, 29.26, above that, 29.43 and 29.62. To the south side, 28.91, 28.56, 28.38 and 28.21. So what happened? Look at this is a sell-off. This wick took us to resistance and sold off. This is the middle of the trend where we were going up. We are still going up on the 5. So price likes to slice through here as it makes its way to the upside or as it falls down. This is your clear buy signal because the lines get adjusted. And look at this long wick. Unbelievable. I have not seen a wick like that. That is a drop of, from here to here, 4% right here in this wick. And then it got bought up. And that's why sometimes I set out my buy orders 4 standard deviations out, although mostly it will never happen, but sometimes it does and it pays off. And that happened to me on another ticker for Dow Incorporated, and I thought, oh, I have a few more days before we get down to this level, and then boom, that wick closed it out. Closed out my opportunity. All right, let's get rid of that. So now here's your sell signal here, your buy signal. And we're going down on the 5. So there's going to be a little bit of a pullback. And I don't really have too much interest in buying this until there's a major pullback. Okay, let's look at this again on the daily and see if we can, well, it's really hard because I've marked this out so many times. And I used to own it at 24.65. All those light pink lines I've sold out. I no longer own this lot, those lots. So I sold out for 20%, here a 7%, here an 11.52%, 6.19%, 2.24%. When everyone trashed the pharmaceuticals, because I mean I trashed them too, but it was a good buy in the sense that it was very low. So I bought mRNA, Pfizer, and I kept my eyes on something else, but now I don't remember. But now it's starting to run. All right. That is a look at Dow, Uber, and mRNA. Have a great trading day.